The pool at Hollow Creek High, I'm 62 now. But this happened when I was 13, back in 1985. My best friend Tommy was 12. We grew up in Hollow Creek, a nowhere town in upstate New York. I'm shaking just typing this. This story has clung to me like a shadow my whole life. If I linger on it too long, my stomach churns, and I feel like I'm back there, drowning in it. Break time. 1. Fives. You'll see why soon enough. Tommy and I met in second grade at Hollow Creek Elementary. He was the skinny kid building a fort out of Legos in the corner of the classroom. I sat down, added a tower, and that was it. We were glued at the hip. Best friends from that moment. We had other pals, sure, but we were the core of our little crew. Break time. 0. 8s, regular kids, always scheming, always in some harmless trouble, stealing cookies from the cafeteria, sneaking into the woods behind school. Teachers loved us. Kids wanted to hang with us. I was the loud one, the planner. Tommy was quieter, happy to follow my lead. But it felt equal. We were unstoppable. Break time. 1. Fives. Then came middle school, Hollow Creek High, where 7th graders like us were thrown into a jungle of 8th and 9th graders who looked like they could bench press us. No middle school buffer, just straight from being kings of elementary to minnows in a shark tank. We strutted in that first day, all swagger, thinking we'd own the place. By day 2, we were wrecks. The older kids towered over us, their voices deep, their glares cutting. We weren't ready. The school split us up. They mixed kids from different elementary schools to broaden social circles. Cruel, if you ask me. Tommy was in homeroom B, I was in homeroom D. We barely saw each other, except at lunch or recess. And even then, it wasn't the same. The popularity we'd had evaporated. We were nobodies. Worse, we were targets. Something about us, maybe our size, our dumb confidence, painted bullseyes on our backs. I got picked on by a pack of 8th graders in my classes. Tommy had his own tormentors in his. We'd meet after school, bruised and quiet, pretending it wasn't killing us. Break time. 1. Fives. The real terror was the creeps. Our name for 2 9th graders, Mitch and Kyle. We only whispered it at my house or Tommy's, never at school. Mitch was a hulking kid with a buzz cut and a smirk that promised pain. Kyle was wiry, with eyes that glinted like he enjoyed your fear. They didn't just bully, they hunted. Break time. 1. Fives. They didn't just bully, they hunted. They'd trip us in the halls, dump our books in the trash, or flick lit matches at our shirts. If a locker slammed into my shoulder, I'd see them grinning nearby. If Tommy's backpack got slashed, their laughter followed. They were everywhere, always with a rotating crew of lackeys. No reason given, just pure malice. Our first semester was hell. Winter, worse. Spring, unbearable. Our parents didn't notice the bags under our eyes, the way we stopped talking. We didn't tell them. Snitching meant a death sentence back then. Stupid, looking back, but that's how it was. Then came summer term, and with it, the school pool. It was an old, chlorine-soaked building behind the gym, all cracked tiles and flickering lights. We'd heard about it, but never thought we'd use it. 7th graders didn't get pool time until now. Swimming was added to our PE schedule, boys and girls split by day. For the first time, Tommy and I had a class together. Mondays, last period, we'd line up outside the changing rooms, grinning like we'd won the lottery. Swimming was our escape. For 1 hour, we were kids again, splashing, racing, forgetting the creeps. 5 weeks in, we lingered in the changing room after class. You learn to wait when you're a bully's target. Showering with others is asking for trouble. Break time. 1, 2s. The PE coach, Mr. Hargrove, was long gone, probably sneaking a smoke. He'd tossed us the keys to lock up, muttering about trust. Adults still liked us, somehow. We were in our trunks, joking about diving in again. "Let's do it," Tommy said, his eyes sparking with that old mischief. I laughed, thrilled to see my friend alive again. We didn't think about the rules, or the danger. We ran back to the pool, bare feet slapping the tiles, and jumped in. The water was warm, the room echoing with our laughs. Then the door creaked. Mitch and Kyle strolled in, dressed in their school clothes, jeans, sneakers, and all. My skin went cold despite the water. Tommy whispered, "Oh no." We were in the middle of the pool, too far from the ladders. They stood by the only exit, smirking. Well, look at the little rats," Kyle drawled. Mitch chuckled, low and mean. "What are you doing in our pool?" We didn't move. Kyle clapped, loud, and leaned forward. "Break time, though. It's, get over here." My heart raced. "We're not gonna hurt you," Mitch said, his grin saying otherwise. "You're cool sneaking in like this." Kyle nodded. "Real cool. Come on." We had no choice. We swam to the edge, climbing out, dripping and shivering. Along the pool's side was a drainage grate, a rusted metal cover for the overflow system. It was supposed to be bolted, but this one was loose. Kyle kicked it up, revealing a dark, narrow hole where water sloshed. "Dare you to stick your arm in," he said, his voice slick with challenge. I shook my head, my throat tight. "Come on," Mitch coaxed. "Do it, and we'll leave you alone. Promise." I don't know why Tommy did it. Maybe he thought they'd actually stop. Maybe he was just tired of being scared. He was small, smaller than me, his arm thin as a twig. "What's in there?" he asked, voice shaky but curious. "Find out," Kyle said. Tommy hesitated, then slid his arm into the hole, up to his elbow. The water lapped around it. He frowned, feeling something. "Got anything?" Mitch asked, leaning closer. Tommy shook his head. Then Kyle moved, fast. He slammed the grate down, trapping Tommy's arm. Tommy yelped, yanking back, but the grate held tight. He thrashed, water splashing, his face twisting in panic. I screamed, "Let him go!" and lunged at Kyle. But Mitch shoved me back, hard. I hit the tiles, gasping. Tommy was flailing, his arm caught, his body jerking against the grate. Kyle laughed, one foot on the grate, pressing it down. "Look at him squirm!" Tommy's gasps turned to choked sobs. I scrambled up, yelling, "Stop it!" Then it happened. A sickening crunch, muffled by the water, but loud enough to stop my heart. Tommy's body went limp, his head lolling, his arms still trapped. Blood swirled in the water, faint, but unmistakable. Mitch froze. Break time, Doro. Eights. Kyle's laugh died. His face went pale, his foot still on the grate. "Oh God," he whispered. He looked at me, eyes wide. "Don't tell, please." No threats, just raw fear. They bolted, sneakers squeaking on the tiles. I tore at the grate, my hands slipping, screaming Tommy's name. It came free, and I pulled him out. His arm was mangled, bone jutting through skin. His eyes were open, blank. He was gone. I sat there, cradling him, sobbing, the pool lights flickering above. Minutes later, footsteps. Mitch and Kyle had brought Mr. Hargrove and the janitor. They saw Tommy, saw the blood. Hargrove yelled, "Someone call 911." I was numb, barely hearing them. The story we told was half true. We'd snuck into the pool, dared each other to mess with the grate. Tommy got stuck. An accident. I didn't say Kyle pinned it down. I don't know why. Maybe I saw the terror in his eyes, the way he begged. Oh, maybe I thought it wouldn't bring Tommy back. The school called it a tragedy. Tommy's parents couldn't even look at me. My own folks were quiet for months, their eyes heavy with questions they didn't ask. The bullying stopped. Mitch and Kyle avoided me, their faces ashen when we passed in the halls. Kids whispered, some with fear, some with awe, like I'd done something to Tommy. The pool was drained. The building locked up for good. I'm old now, but Tommy's still 12 in my head, grinning with that spark in his eyes. I miss him every day. I never told the truth about Kyle. Break time. 1. Twos. I don't know where he or Mitch ended up, and I don't want to. I hope they carried it. That weight. I hope they woke up screaming like I did for years. I stayed quiet for Tommy, because he wouldn't have wanted their lives ruined. But God, it's heavy. And it's never left me. The echoes of Blackwood Academy. I'm 38 now, but in 1995, when I was 8, I was a second grader at Blackwood Academy, a private school nestled in the pine forests outside Springfield, Illinois. That place haunts me still, a damp, looming shadow of a building that felt alive in all the wrong ways. I spent 2 years there, and what happened in my second year clings to me like wet rot. Break time. 1. Twos. Writing this makes my chest tight, but I need to get it out. My parents enrolled me because Blackwood was new, exclusive, and promised a forward-thinking education. To me, it was an old, creaky manor, maybe a converted estate, with sagging beams and a musty smell that seeped into your clothes. The youngest kids, like me, had classes on the ground floor, where the windows were clouded with grime. Older students were upstairs, their footsteps creaking above us. The top floor held staff offices, and above that, a locked attic we saw once during a holiday concert. That attic was suffocating, dusty, silent, and heavy, with something I couldn't name. I never wanted to go back. The school was run by the Harpers, a family that set my nerves on edge even as a kid. Mrs. Harper, the headmistress, was a stern woman with sharp features and a voice like a whip. Her gray eyes seemed to see through you, and she rarely smiled. But sometimes she'd soften, especially with me, slipping me a chocolate bar or patting my shoulder. Once, She gave me a small leather notebook for Christmas, my name embossed on it. Well, no other kid got gifts from her. It felt like a prize then. Now it feels like a mark. Her husband, Mr. Harper, was a phantom figure, always lurking. He wasn't a teacher, maybe a grant writer, or some kind of financier, but he'd drift through the halls, his shoes clicking. He was lanky, with thinning hair and sweaty palms that left a clammy grip when he shook your hand. When he got angry, his face flushed crimson, and his shouts echoed. We steered clear. The Harpers had 3 kids. Joey, my age, was in my class. He was a clumsy kid, always tripping over desks, knocking books to the floor, laughing until he banged his knee and wailed. Everyone knew when he entered a room. Chaos followed. Break time. 1, 2s. Their middle child, a teenage girl, only appeared at school events, dressed in ripped jeans and heavy eyeliner, her expression blank. She was a ghost to us. Then there was Marcus, their eldest, in his mid-20s, back from college and always at the school. He'd show up at recess, assemblies, even random lessons, claiming he was assisting. Oh, he was tall, broad, with a practiced smile that never reached his cold eyes. As a kid, I didn't question an adult son lingering around an elementary school. Now, it's a neon warning sign. The school had a pool house, a dilapidated structure behind the main building, half swallowed by the forest. Break time. 1, 2s. It was a concrete box with a slanted roof and cracked windows, the air inside thick with chlorine and decay. My first year, it was off limits. The pool, a stagnant pit of black water, leaves, and rumors. Kids whispered it was haunted, that something watched from the deep end. In 1995, a sweltering summer hit, and the school decided to restore it. They drained the muck, scrubbed the tiles, and added swimming to our schedule. We were ecstatic, buzzing about diving and splashing after classes. Swimming was Wednesdays, supervised by teachers, with a free swim club after school. The changing rooms were 2 grim shacks beside the pool house, with splintered benches, cobwebs, and a sour, moldy stench. Break time. 1, 2s. Blackwood charged steep tuition, but spent little on upkeep. The pool's restoration seemed to drain their budget. We'd wear swimsuits under our clothes to avoid the filthy benches. There was a rule: no locking doors. A kid had gotten trapped in a bathroom once, sparking a panic. So locks were banned. It seemed practical then, but it left us vulnerable. Marcus was often around during swim time, helping teachers. He wasn't staff, just the headmistress's son, but no one questioned him. He'd barge into the boys' changing room, shouting, "Time's up!" and chuckling as we scrambled to cover up. We'd laugh nervously, thinking it was a joke, but I hated his gaze, the way his voice sharpened if you didn't play along. Break time. 1, 5s. One Wednesday, near summer break, the heat was oppressive, the air like a wet blanket. My friends were already in the pool, their shouts echoing through the walls. I was slow, struggling with my swimsuit, alone in the changing room. The door creaked. "Hey, little man," Marcus said, his voice low, not his usual shout. My heart thudded. Break time 0, 8s. I was half-dressed, clutching my swimsuit. He stepped inside, the door clicking shut. Taking your time, huh, Danny? He leaned against the wall, arms crossed, his smile too tight. I nodded, eyes on the floor, willing him to leave. He didn't. Pool's waiting. Hurry up. His tone was friendly, but his eyes were heavy, watching. I turned, trying to pull on my swimsuit without him seeing. My hands shook. I heard his shoes scuff closer, the air growing thick. Need a hand? He asked, his breath too close. Before I could speak, he grabbed my shoulders, hard, spinning me. Just messing with ya, he laughed, but it was hollow. I yelped, stumbling back against the bench. The wood bit into my thighs, sharp and raw. Tears burned my eyes. I was 8, small and terrified. Stop crying, he hissed, his face twisting. He grabbed my arm, yanking me up. Pain flared in my wrist. I twisted, shoving him, out of panic. He stumbled, his shoulders slamming into the flimsy wall. Then, a low, unearthly hum, like a voice from underwater. The air turned icy, the lights flickering. From the floor, drain, a rusted grate tied to the pool's overflow system, came a wet, choking gurgle. Black mist, thick and shimmering, seeped up, curling like fingers around Marcus's ankles. He froze, his eyes wide. The mist wasn't smoke, it pulsed, alive, forming vague shapes, faces, hands, eyes. A whisper hissed from the grate, low and furious, not words, but rage. Marcus screamed, a raw animal sound, as the mist surged, wrapping his legs, pulling. Break time. 1, 2s. He clawed at the bench, but it dragged him toward the grate, his shoes slipping on the slick floor. The whispers grew, a chorus of malice, filling the room. I backed away, heart pounding, as Marcus lunged for the door. It stuck. He'd locked it. I'm certain now. He pounded, sobbing, until it burst open. He staggered into the pool house, the mist trailing him, seeping into the pool, which turned black and churning. I ran after, dodging the cold floor, bursting into chaos. Teachers were yelling, pulling kids from the water. Marcus collapsed, gasping, his skin blistered where the mist had touched. Someone shouted for a nurse. I stood, shaking, a single burn on my hand where a wisp had brushed me, the pain sharp and lingering. Marcus was gone after that. They said he was hospitalized, burns, hallucinations, a breakdown. The school year ended, and my parents moved me to a public school that summer. No explanation. I didn't ask. Break time. 1. 5 Blackwood shut down in 1997 after Mr. Harper was arrested for fraud, skimming tuition and grants. Mrs. Harper disappeared. I learned later Marcus was jailed in his 30s for abusing kids elsewhere. I don't want details. That day, I escaped something worse than that mist. I'm sure Marcus locked that door. Break time. 1, 2s. Whatever came from that grate, whatever lived in that pool, saved me. But the whispers, the cold, Marcus's screams, they're carved into me. I check locks obsessively. I haven't swum since. And sometimes, in the dark, I hear that hum, faint, but there. The chill at Desert Bloom Court. Looking back, those college summers were a blur of freedom and chaos, stitched together by friendships that felt unbreakable. In 2003, I was 21, a junior at a small university in Arizona, teetering on the edge of adulthood with no clue how fragile it all was. My roommates, Lisa, Megan, Sophie, and me, were my world. Break time. 8 says, 4 girls who turned a rundown rental house into a haven of laughter and late-night confessions. We were all 20 or 21, juggling classes, crappy jobs, and the thrill of being young. That August night, we threw a pool party in our backyard, a spontaneous plan to soak up the last of summer before senior year swallowed us. I can still smell the citrus sting of our margaritas, hear Lisa's cackle over the music, see the way the desert sunset painted the sky crimson over the cacti beyond our fence. It was perfect until it wasn't. What happened that night still claws at me, a memory that twists my gut and keeps me from pools. I'm 39 now, and I need to tell this, if only to loosen its grip. We lived in a sprawling suburb outside Tucson, where the houses were cookie-cutter, but the yards felt wild, backed by scrubby hills. Our place had an in-ground pool, a luxury for broke students, its concrete edges cracked but functional, with a rusty diving board we never trusted. That night, around 9 p.m., we were in the water, floating on cheap rafts, our glasses of mojitos sweating on the poolside. The air was thick with heat, the kind that sticks to your skin even after dark. Our iPod dock blasted early 2000s hits, maybe some Nelly or Destiny's Child, mixing with the faint smell of grilled burgers from the Martinez's barbecue next door. Their party had wound down, the kids' shrieks giving way to adult murmurs and the occasional strum of a guitar. It felt like the whole neighborhood was unwinding, mirroring our own chill vibe. Our house was a magnet for friends, always buzzing with drop-ins. 5 of us lived there. Claire, our 5th roommate, was pulling a late shift at a diner, due back around midnight. So, when the back gate creaked, I barely blinked. It could have been Claire cutting out early, or Sophie's fling, or any of our crew who knew to skip the front door when they heard us out back. I was lounging on a floaty, facing the house, sipping my drink. Lisa and Megan were across from me, their faces shifting, eyes narrowing, bodies tensing. "Who are those guys?" Megan whispered, her voice sharp. I turned, while 3 dudes, mid-20s, strolled into the yard with a cocky strut, faded tees, low-slung jeans, one with a bandana tied around his wrist. They looked like they'd walked out of a bad campus bar, and I didn't know them. A glance at Sophie and Lisa said they didn't either. My stomach knotted, but I told myself they might know Claire. Break time. 1. Fifth. "Hey, what's up?" Sophie called, her tone firm, but not hostile. The guy in front, tall, wiry, with a smirk that screamed trouble, spread his hands. "Just crashing the party," he said, his voice slick. "I'll call him Ryan. The other 2? Cody and Blake. Fake names, probably, but they fit the vibe." Lisa, never one to mince words, leaned forward. "Crash somewhere else. This is private." Ryan's smirk didn't budge, his eyes raking over our swimsuits. "Chill. We're friends of Claire's," he said, the lie hanging heavy. "Claire?" I said, skeptical. Claire was our rock, the one who budgeted groceries and never owed a dime. "She's at work. What do you want?" Ryan's gaze locked on me. Too long. "She owes us something. We'll hang till she's back. Cody, the stocky one with a goatee, nodded. Yeah, Claire's cool. Megan crossed her arms. Owes you what? Blake, the quiet one with a shaved head and tattoos, spoke up. Business. Don't worry your pretty heads. His voice was flat, but his stare was predatory. My skin prickled. The air turned sour, heavy with threat. They weren't leaving. Ryan stepped closer, his shadow spilling over the pool. Maybe you girls can help us out, he said, his tone teasing but edged with menace. Break time. Tatas, fives. Help with what? I snapped, my patience thinning. Ryan crouched, elbows on the pool's edge. Claire's debt. You could pay it. Differently. Cody chuckled, a dirty sound, and my blood chilled. The pool was our trap. Climbing out meant hauling over the slick sides, a slow, clumsy move under their eyes. Break time. 1, 2s. Worse, Blake had drifted to the shallow end, kicking the metal steps loose. It wasn't much, but it blocked our best exit. Hey, don't mess with that, Megan said, swimming toward him. Blake grinned, cold. Keeping you safe, sweetheart, he said, his voice dripping with mockery. Break time. 1, ifs. They started circling the pool, slow and deliberate, like coyotes. The yard's floodlights cast harsh shadows, and the Martinez's music felt miles away. I strained to hear their voices, praying they were still outside. If we screamed, would they come? Ryan splashed water at Sophie, who flinched. She was the quiet one, not built for this. Cut it out, she said, her voice shaky. Just having fun, Ryan mocked, splashing harder. Lisa tried to climb out, but Cody shoved her back, hard. She hit the water, gasping. That's when fear sank in deep. Stop it, I shouted, hoping the neighbors would hear. Ryan's face hardened. Shut up, or this gets worse. He nodded at Blake, who pulled a pocket knife, flicking it open. The blade glinted, small, but razor-sharp. My heart slammed against my ribs. 4 of us, 3 of them. But we were in bikinis, trapped in water, and they had a knife. What do you want? I asked, forcing calm. Ryan paced, his eyes on Lisa. You're the one, right? Hooking up with Travis. Lisa stiffened. She'd been seeing Travis, a grad student who sold weed on the side. He was charming, but shady. Travis? She said, confused. You know him? Ryan's laugh was sharp. Oh yeah, Travis owes us $7 grand. Thought you were his girl, but maybe it's one of you. His gaze raked over us, hungry. Doesn't matter. You'll pay, or he will. Lisa shook her head. We don't have $7 grand. Cody stepped closer. Then get Travis here, or we'll take something else. Blake's knife twirled, and I felt sick. Leave us alone, Sophie pleaded. Travis isn't coming. Ryan's grin was wolfish. Then you're out of luck. He grabbed Lisa's arm, yanking her toward the edge. Megan and I surged forward, splashing, trying to pull her back. Blake lunged, grabbing Megan, while Cody pinned me against the pool wall. Sophie screamed, retreating to the deep end. Break time. 1, 2s. Quiet, or she's cut, Ryan hissed, the knife now at Lisa's wrist. Her eyes were wide, terrified. We were stuck, the water sloshing, our breaths ragged. Lisa, usually the boldest, had been quiet, her face pale. "Lisa, do you know these guys?" I asked. She shook her head, barely audible. "No." "Break time." 1, 2s. Ryan smirked, pacing to her. "But you're Travis's, right?" He leaned in, too close. We closed ranks around her, the pool walls our only shield. "What's with her?" Megan demanded. "She's the one with our boy Travis," Cody said. Lisa's fling with Travis was casual, a summer thing. We liked him, but he was trouble. Small-time dealer, always dodging someone. "You're Travis's friends?" Lisa asked, her voice shaky but hopeful. Ryan snorted. "He wishes. He owes us big, and you're gonna settle it." "How much?" Lisa asked, looking ill. I glanced at the Martinez's yard, praying for movement. Break time. 1, 2s. "Don't even think about it," Blake growled, grabbing my shoulder. Ryan seized Lisa, Cody grabbed Megan, and Blake yanked Sophie from the deep end. Sophie shrieked, flailing. "Stay still," Ryan ordered, and they dunked us under, holding us down. It was brief, seconds, but it burned, the water choking us. We broke free, gasping, and huddled in the center. "Scream, try to run, and we'll carve you up," Ryan said, flashing the knife. It was small, but deadly. I knew what 3 men could do to 4 women before help arrived. "Please, just go," Megan said. "Travis isn't here." Ryan laughed. "Then you're our payout." He eyed Lisa. Break time. "Show. 5s. He owes 7 grand. Coke, bad deals. You got that lying around?" None of us had that cash. Travis's weed hustle was small. We didn't know he was into harder stuff. "What's the debt for?" Lisa demanded. Ryan mimed snorting, smirking. "His side gig. You pay, or we take it out on you." Blake's stare was vile, and I shuddered. Break time. 1, 2s. "I can call Travis," Lisa said, her voice small. Cell phones were basic then, flip phones, left inside to avoid water damage. The house phone was through the sliding glass door. "I'll go with her," Ryan said, gripping Lisa's arm. "Cody, Blake, watch them." He spat a slur, raw and ugly. "Don't," I said, but Lisa shook her head. "Break time. 0, 8s. I'll call. It's fine." Her eyes screamed fear. Ryan pulled her out, his fingers bruising her skin, and led her to the house. The door slid open. We watched, helpless, from the pool. Then a crash, like a bomb going off. Lisa had grabbed a wrought iron candle holder from the patio table and smashed it into Ryan's face. He roared, collapsing, blood gushing from his forehead, metal glinting in his skin. Lisa sprinted back, screaming, "Help! Somebody!" Her voice was a flare, lighting up the night. We joined her, yelling until our throats burned. Megan scrambled over the pool's edge, dodging Cody's grab, and swung a pool skimmer at him, cracking his ribs. Break time 1, 5s. He cursed, stumbling. Blake, still clutching the knife, hesitated, his eyes flicking to the gate. Ryan was up, clutching his face, staggering for the fence. He tore the gate open and ran, blood trailing. Cody followed, clutching his side. Blake dropped the knife, bolting as headlights flashed. The Martinezes, drawn by our screams. Mr. Martinez and two neighbors, a retired cop named E.D. and a burly guy, Carlos, burst through the gate. "They're getting away!" Lisa shouted. The men checked US first, making sure we were safe. But Blake hadn't made it far. Ed tackled him near the fence, pinning him down. We were shaking, still in swimsuits, the pool lights casting eerie shadows. The police arrived, and we spilled everything. Travis, tracked down, denied owing money, but ID'd the guys, dropouts from a local college, small-time dealers. Blake was arrested. His knife entered as evidence. Ryan and Cody vanished, but their descriptions went out. Charging them was a slog. Ryan and Cody's families had money, hired slick lawyers. We pushed for assault, but settled out of court. Small payouts, no justice. Blake got probation, community service, and expulsion. It wasn't enough. Then the pool turned strange. Days later, the water grew murky, no matter how we cleaned it. Break time, Ser 1, 2s. At night, we heard whispers, low, garbled, like voices underwater. I saw ripples forming shapes, fingers, eyes, when the pool was still. Lisa swore she saw a shadow in the deep end, moving against the current. We drained it, but dark stains lingered, oily and wrong, like the pool held a grudge. We moved out when the lease ended. The house felt cursed. Lisa and Travis split soon after. She's a social worker now, still my friend. Megan and Sophie drifted away, their voices fading. Claire, who missed it all, moved to Seattle. I don't swim anymore. The memory, Ryan's knife, Lisa's scream, those whispers. Hits like a wave. But Lisa's fight, that candle holder, saved us. I hold that tight, even as the pool's shadows linger. The Yoga Studio Intrusion. Back in the summer of 2023, I was deep into my wellness journey, hitting a yoga studio in the quiet suburbs of Ashwood, Ohio, 4 times a week. It was one of those trendy places, dim lights, sage-scented air, and a clientele of mostly women trying to find their zen after the chaos of the past few years. I'd started going to the studio as part of a post-lockdown Reclaim My Body and Mind campaign, and it was working. I felt stronger, calmer, prouder. I'd even made a small crew of friends, 3 other women who'd sync up for the same classes to stretch, sweat, and laugh together. We were tight, the kind of bond you form when you're all trying to outplank each other. Break time. 1, 2s. That day, the 4 of us were in the women's changing room, getting ready for a 6 p.m. hot yoga session. The room was small, all exposed brick and bamboo lockers, with a faint hum of calming music piped in from the studio. There was also an older woman there, maybe in her late 60s, who I'd seen once or twice before. She was quiet, always kept to herself, folding her towel with this meticulous care that stuck in my mind. We were mid-conversation, half-dressed in our leggings and sports bras, when it happened. You know that sound, the kind that makes your stomach drop before your brain even registers. Why? It started as a low rumble, like something heavy dragging across the floor outside, then escalated into sharp, erratic thuds. Shouts followed, muffled but frantic, coming from the lobby. It wasn't just a scuffle. It felt like the world outside the changing room was unraveling. We froze, eyes darting to the narrow hallway that connected the changing room to the rest of the studio. Before any of us could say a word, a man stumbled in, crashed in, really. He was a nightmare made flesh. His clothes were tattered, a ripped tank top, once white but now streaked with grime, and what looked like dried blood. Cargo shorts so worn they hung off his bony frame. His bare feet slapped against the tiles, leaving smears of dirt. His hair, a matted mess, like he'd been clawing at it for days. And his skin, God. His skin was grayish, pocked with sores, like something was eating him from the inside out. His eyes were the worst, wide, bloodshot, and wrong, like they didn't belong to a human anymore. But the real terror was what he held. A fire axe, its blade chipped and rusted, dangling from his trembling hands. The thing looked like it had been pulled from a forgotten shed, and the way he gripped it, knuckles white, made it clear he wasn't here to chop wood. He stopped dead when he saw us, his head twitching like a predator catching a scent. Then he let out this sound, not a scream, not a grunt, but something primal, like a wounded animal ready to kill. The axe swayed in his grip, catching the dim light. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it had burst. I wanted to scream, to run, but my legs were jelly. I stumbled back, crashing into the lockers with a metallic clang. My friends were just as paralyzed. Break time. Eights. One of them, Sarah, gasped and dropped her water bottle, the sound echoing like a gunshot in the silence. The older woman, still clutching her towel, whimpered and backed toward the corner. The man's eyes locked onto me, and for a split second, I swear I saw his lips curl into something like a smile. Then he lurched forward. Axe raised. Break time 1. Fives. Before he could take another step, a shout cut through the air. Drop it! Now! 3 security guards barreled into the room, batons drawn, their radios crackling with urgent chatter. The man spun toward them, snarling, and swung the axe wildly, missing one of the guards by inches. The guards didn't hesitate. They tackled him, pinning him to the ground. Oh, the axe clattered across the tiles, stopping just short of my feet. I couldn't stop staring at it, at the rust, and the faint reddish stains on the blade. The man thrashed and howled, spitting curses that didn't sound like any language I knew. As the guards cuffed him, one of them yelled, "Stay put!" But the older woman, trembling and pale, tried to slip past the chaos. The man lunged against his restraints, snapping his teeth at her like a rabid dog. One of the guards yanked her back just in time, steadying her as she sobbed. The whole thing was over in maybe 30 seconds, but it felt like hours. The guards dragged the man out, his screams echoing down the hallway until they faded into the lobby. We stood there, shell-shocked, clutching each other. The older woman was shaking so badly we had to help her sit down. None of us could speak. From the studio beyond, we heard more shouts. Then a single, sharp crack, not a gunshot, but something heavy, breaking, maybe glass. We didn't dare move until a guard came back, his face grim. "It's safe now," he said, but his voice was tight. "You can come out, but maybe skip class today." We didn't need convincing. We threw on our clothes and followed him to the lobby, where the glass front door was shattered, sparkling under the fluorescent lights. Outside, we saw the man, now restrained, and loaded into an ambulance, not a cop car. Paramedics were shouting about overdose and psychotic episode. His eyes, still wild, met mine through the ambulance window. I swear he recognized me. Later, we learned he'd been wandering the strip mall across the street, swinging that axe at parked cars and screaming about the end of the world. Someone called 911, and when the cops showed up, he bolted into the yoga studio, straight through the lobby, and into our changing room. They think he was on some kind of synthetic drug, something that turned his brain to mush. The crack we heard? That was him, smashing a display case in the lobby during his rampage. Miraculously, no one was hurt, not even the older woman, though she never returned to the studio. I don't blame her. That day haunts me. I still go to the studio, but I'm different now, hypervigilant, always checking the exits. My friends and I don't talk about it much, but we're bonded by it, like survivors of some unspoken war. The studio replaced the door, scrubbed the floors, but you can still feel it in the air sometimes, like the place is holding its breath. The worst part? A few weeks ago, I was grabbing coffee at a diner downtown, and I saw him. Or someone who looked exactly like him. Cleaner, healthier, but those eyes, they were the same. He was wiping down tables, his movements slow, deliberate. I didn't stick around to find out if it was really him. I don't think I want to know.